what's going on? JD here, and this is the Daily JD. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button so you get notifications when we, in fact, do go live, and then show up and join in the conversation. And well, we'll just have a good time. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic week. I myself am just kind of cruising in, getting a little used to this colder weather that's kind of swept in. Last night went to the Blues Can to check out Mike Lansbrough's band, as well as hang out with Josh WRB. I think we are hitting up a film tonight as well. Gonna go see John Wick 3, so that is the plan. Good to see you, Scott. Thanks for tuning in. Always appreciate the support. So again, hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. Today is Ask Me Anything, so if you do have any questions, anything that you do want to discuss, by all means, throw it in the chat. It's funny that you're in here, Scott. There was something that I meant to send to you, and I forgot, and I've kind of forgot the gist of it that Gary Vee had, but he was talking about musicians, and I thought it would be something that would be really cool to weigh in. I will have to definitely track that down again. What time you seeing John Wick? Seeing it at 7 p.m. at Chinook. So we'll be down at Chinook Center. So if you're down there, by all means, say hello. Hey, good to see you, Craftsmith. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today's Ask Me Anything. If you do have any questions and stuff that you want to talk about, by all means, let me know. I've got a couple things that I'm just going to kind of throw out there. I do kind of want to start another podcast because I don't do enough podcasts, I feel, which is kind of ironic, probably. But I think, something along the lines of the Creator Collective, I do want to sit down and talk with people and their creative endeavors and, sort of have conversations and brainstorm and have ideas and talk about people's experiences with social media and, basically going about what they do creatively and how they've gotten to the point and, some of the trials and tribulations and all those kind of things that they've had going on. That's kind of what I think I would like to do at some point here. I just need to kind of 100% figure it out, brainstorm. Scott says, I would love to hear it. Will you be going to Otafest this weekend? Yes, I think I'm going to go on Sunday. It's the kind of crappy thing is that the weather doesn't look like it's going to be that great. So everybody will be packed inside. I think Sunday's kind of my day. And the reason being is that on Sunday, you can park for free downtown. It's not a big deal, and you can go there no problem. I may go down on Saturday as well, saying that as well, because you can actually get cheap parking down in the downtown core as well. It just kind of really depends on the weather. I imagine that Craftsmith, that you are hitting it up. Are you hitting it up all weekend? Do you have specific days? And what are you dressing as? Because I'm sure you have some great outfits ready to go. I'm seeing John Wick at 10:15 at Landmark. Yeah, I'm going with Josh WRB. We're hitting up John Wick down at Chinook, so that's why we're heading down. That's in his neck of the woods. Although I will say I like, sort of Landmark theaters and Empire theaters here. And, a lot of these theaters that have the big comfy seats, I'm all about the big comfy seats now, but I haven't gone to one in quite a while. I like the recliners, although my fear is always that I'm going to fall asleep during the movie because, you're all reclined and comfortable and, you've got all this space. And next thing I expect to be snoring and somebody poking me or something. Because I imagine snoring in the theater is much worse than somebody's cell phone going off. So there you go. Craftsman says, I will be at Otafest on Friday and Saturday. Well, I will try to redo my plans, and I will try to get down to Otafest on Saturday if I can and hang out then. Just, so we can check out what you've got going on. So there you go. Friday will be the 10th Doctor again. Cool. Guns, lots of guns. Yes, John Wick will be full of guns, and I know that if you've watched some of the social media around John Wick, like Halle Berry on the gun course and stuff, these guys working really hard. I mean, it's fairly impressive how much work they put in to, really be efficient at those kind of things. I'm a Cineplex employee, but Landmark is superior. Hey, that's it's good to know. Saturday, Ozuko Blue, Spirit from Avatar: Last Airbender. Awesome, awesome. Sunday is Game of Thrones event at the Telus Spark building, so I won't be there. Or you'll be there instead of Odafest, which is cool. And speaking of Game of Thrones, I mean, it's kind of interesting. I just noticed prior to going online that there is a huge petition currently from Game of Thrones fans basically wanting HBO to rewrite and redo the ending. By the sounds of things, that people are none too happy with the way things have played out. They're calling the writers incompetent. There is a huge momentum behind this, which is crazy. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if a production company would ever do that. It doesn't make sense to go back and refilm something to appease your fans. I mean, obviously, if you refilm something, you could make probably a ton of money in advertising and, essentially the further episodes and advertising attached to it. But, I think it'd be kind of a weird move in a lot of ways as well. I don't know if that would ever happen, but I mean, this thing has huge momentum. And I mean, one of the things that I didn't know in briefly what I was reading today was that the last book hasn't been finished for Game of Thrones. So ultimately the writers are just making up what they are. So the book will probably, most likely 100% end a lot different than the TV series. So people just none too happy with that. So Harry Potter, Star Wars, and Game of Thrones fans really get upset when things don't go their way. By refilming it would also upset the fans who enjoyed it the way it is. It would be true, but I mean, there are funny things with films as well that they do actually film sometimes multiple endings, and they will actually run. They used to run test audiences back in the day on how it would sort of play out. Like, I remember an ending too big that it's not the ending to big anymore with Tom Hanks, because of the way it panned out. And I guess they went with the alternative ending or the ending that they have now versus the ending that I actually saw in the theater. So I mean, it's kind of really weird that they do that. But ultimately at the end of the day, they have some options. I mean, asking somebody to refilm something in its entirety, will probably not happen, because I mean, that is a huge ordeal, especially when they've closed the production and that's kind of it, the end of the road. But people are none too happy. By refilming it, okay, we've read that. The last two books haven't been written yet. Yeah, like I said, I got the gist that I had read that the last book hadn't been written, which I guess, in a good sense, like for people that read the books and enjoyed the books, that you will still have something to read, because I mean, it's obviously going to end 100% completely different. What's your favorite movie of all time? Josh is asking. Good to see you, man. Favorite movies of all time. If you are kind of in the horror comedy genre, Army of Darkness is one of my favorites of all time. If you are talking about stoner comedies, Grandma's Boy is one of my favorite flicks. One of my favorite flicks overall has to be Clerks, the original Clerks. Those are kind of, some of the films that I've watched over and over again. Sci-fi, I would have to say it was Empire Strikes Back. I have really good fond memories of those films. Those are kind of my go-to films, where I like to watch. But, Clerks is probably the high on that list. I probably watch that every couple months, and same with Grandma's Boy, to be awesome. Honest as well. For whatever reason, I like super stoner movies. They make me laugh, and they're just really funny. And I kind of like those friendship kind of comedies. The comedy friendship comedy that I've been writing for quite some time is that's essentially what it is. It's about a bunch of best friends and, sort of their adventures moving forward, slightly based in reality, and a lot of it, kind of a little bit trumped up. But at some point, maybe I'll film short sections of it. Who knows? And introduce you to those characters. But that's been on the bucket list for a long, long, long time. Scott says the smartest ever. Why am I'm going to be back in one sec because these are not my right glasses. There we go. This is going to be immensely. Oh my God, this is so much better. I can read with the other ones, but they're just nowhere near as clear. I'm like, why is it so hard to read all this stuff? The smartest ever done when the X-Men Future Days Past completely removed X-Men 3 from existence. It was genius. There you go. I'm way too pumped for John Wick tonight. It's going to be good. Evil Dead 2 is the best. They made the same movie again, just better. I haven't actually watched the new one. I watched Evil Dead, way back in the day. I thought it was really good. Again, I like the comedy, the slapstick comedy of Army of Darkness. I find that kind of the little nuggets and Easter eggs in there that make fun of other things are really, really good. I thought it was a great, great film. J.J. Abrams is apparently doing smart reticoning of The Last Jedi, which is interesting. Yeah, I guess because there's only ever been 3 Star Wars movies made, so that's all I know. Although I have to say I do like Kylo Ren for all the wrong reasons. I think his character is absolutely hilarious. It does make me laugh. I wish they would just film more Matt the Radar Technician kind of stuff because that is absolutely amazing. I've seen those movies more than 20 times each. Have you seen Without a Paddle or Orange County? Love 2 of those. I've seen Without a Paddle. Orange County, I have not. Evil Dead 2 was made just to lead into Army of Darkness. Army of Darkness fave in the series by far. Yeah, I mean, Army of Darkness was a ton of fun. Like I said, I've got the movie poster somewhere hidden behind me. As well as I think Mallrats and Clerks. The fact that I have those posters kicking around is, that's why they're my favorite films. And then, if you want to talk about, other, sort of genres of film, I do love Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. Those are my favorite kind of Quentin Tarantino films. Again, just really, really good films that I truly enjoyed and have seen several times. So again, today's Ask Me Anything. If you have any questions, by all means, throw any questions that you have in there, as well as feel free to drop any links to any videos or anything that you've got going on, shows, Instagram posts, all that kind of stuff. Just throw it in there, share with everybody as well, what's going on. Before I continue, I do want to thank our Patreon supporters. Of course, that is none other than Reviewy McReviewface. If you haven't gone and checked out Reviewy's channel, please do. He is like 50 subscribers away from 1,000. He has the watch time. He is so close to monetization. And he is so close there. So if you can help out Reviewy, that's fantastic because he sponsors us month after month, and he is well deserving of hitting that monetization mark, as well as our YouTube sponsors, of course. Who speak of, who just showed up, Mums Universe. Thanks for joining us, Woodrow. Both Mums Universe and Josh WRB, both in the chat. Thank you for sponsoring the channel month after month. Dude, Orange Country is the best. You got to see it. Jack Black's first movie outside Mars Attacks, I think. Will do. Did I watch Bad Times at El Royale? No, I have not seen that. I've seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High, though. Also a good flick for its time. It's Tarantino ripoff, but it's cool. Subverts all of your expectations. Mom's Universe. Those are some good movie. Josh, show you sponsor perks right here as he drops Bear the Destroyer and the Jalapeno in the chat. Speaking of which, I do have to get on sort of making some more icons for YouTube, as well as the month after month sponsor logo, which you see both behind Josh and Woodrow's basically handles their review. Has some good funny stuff. He's a, you know, he is a smart, funny guy. He's got some really good content. I think he's been way above the watch time hours. It's just the subscribers that really kind of has been his struggle. And I know even guys like Mitch on Two Wheels, same sort of thing. You know, it's a lot of people struggle with hours, and I know that as well as Samurai Fingers has noted today that he's like 1,800 hours short of his 2,400 hours, and he's just like he's a little bit of a loss of what to do. You know, and it's tough. I understand it's completely tough to, you know, sort of hit those thresholds, and, you know, getting your stuff out there and getting stuff consistently watched and, you know, viewed over and over again. You know, it can be a little bit difficult. You know, I think we all as creators experience that. You know, and you know, it's just it can be tough, especially with things like notification systems. I know that myself and, you know, Josh were discussing last night that, you know, things like getting notifications. Like, I don't get, even though I am signed up for everybody's. Like, I'm signed up for Josh's, Mum's Universes, Brian's Republic, Pugs and Paintings, as well, you know, as I've got some other people on that list as well. For Twitch, I get like 0 notifications. Everything is checked and I just don't get them. And I think Josh was mentioning that, you know, Twitch notifications, a lot of people weren't getting them as well. And I'm not sure why that kind of stuff happens. You know, it's funny that, you know, the big thing for me is that a lot of times, you know, especially with Mum's Universe as well as with Josh, is that I know you guys go live because I see your Twitter posts. That's what I see, you know, and it just kind of, you know, reinforces that. You know, it's good to have people following you on multiple platforms, because even when I want to see you, I don't necessarily know that that's going to happen until I see that Twitter post. And I never get those Twitch notifications. It's crazy. Or YouTube notifications for that matter. You know, I don't even understand. And then the irony is, this is where I think it's truly ironic, is that when I log in to do this live stream, because I use a separate computer, because I am using, you know, a different browser on the laptop, I get notifications that I went live. Like, why am I notifying myself? I already know. I know what I did. You know, why is that happening? And it's all very, very confusing for me. And, you know, it just doesn't make any sense, you know, in the long run why that happens. But it's something that we all kind of have to deal with. And like I said, that's the importance of posting. You know, if you have a Facebook group for your channel, posting to your viewers on Facebook that, hey, I'm going to go live. Don't necessarily post any links, because definitely link suppression is happening on Facebook, as well as Instagram. As I mentioned, I've been experimenting. I have 3 different accounts. On Instagram, I have JD Durham. I have Paint Ink, which was my main account, which has over 3,000 subscribers. And I have Live YYC. And I post a lot of times. I post the exact same photograph, exact same layout, tags, everything the same way. And trust me, they get a different response from everything. You would think the account with 3,000 plus followers would do the best, and that is definitely not the case. So very, very interesting. Hey, good to see you, Samurai Fingers. We were just talking about you. Jack Black, favorite movie, he's got to go live. I'm going down here. I didn't get notification live, had to go to Twitter, which is exactly what I was saying. You know, Twitter is such a huge, essential thing. I actually met a guy who went to Fast Times at Ridgemont High during the time frame when the director-writer were doing research of the movies at the high school. That's cool. That's really cool. He was a school mascot during that time. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, good to see you. Pete, thanks for dropping in. Oh, really? Talking about me? Yeah, I was just mentioning that you'd put out on Twitter that you're about 1,800 hours short on your channel, and since you're here, I mean, you can definitely brainstorm on how to accomplish that. I know that some people were making recommendations, set up playlists and do that and recommend those things. Playlists are good. You should be putting your stuff on playlists anyways. But I mean, to be frank, and I took a look at my own stats today after I saw your post in regards to playlists. The percentage of people that go through playlists is very, very small. If you get on other people's playlists, sometimes that's helpful depending on who they are. But some things that I would recommend, or for almost everybody from time to time. Number one is sharing your content on Reddit. You do have to be careful about that. Reddit can be a little bit of a hostile place, and depending on where you share it, you may have your own dirt pig. But essentially, if you get some good momentum on Reddit, it can definitely help your videos for sure. Just make sure that you're not spamming groups, that you share something, that you're involved in the conversation. You don't just go dump a bunch of video links and run. That being said, if you are, on Reddit as well, there is the YYCTube Reddit feed. You can definitely dump videos in there all you like. That's essentially what it's for. And the whole premise of that is that they get upvoted and nobody's supposed to downvote. Not that that always happens, but definitely something that can help. The other one that I suggested, I think, on Twitter is definitely the live streams. The live streams, I will say from experience, were something that helped me gain hours and hours and hours, time and time again. Granted, I was doing it 7 days a week, and I continue to do it twice a week. But for example, we've got 9 people watching currently. Everybody watches. It does help. It adds a few hours to your day, as well as you can utilize this as a medium to, send people to your other videos. For example, this week I released a video. If you're looking to do Instagram selfies, there is an installation, and you can check out the video, see the kind of backgrounds, and it is fairly cool. So that's one way you can always point people to your other videos. And if you're a lot more well prepared than myself, you could definitely drop those links in the comments, so you can point people that way. And that's the nice thing about live streaming, is that you can do that as well. And as long as you can, sort of talk, like, I mean, if you could sit and talk for hours and hours, ad nauseum, you could do really, really well. In your case, Nick, because you do music, and maybe if you have a catalog of music, is creating a playlist on loop and setting it to a live stream so people can jump in. Because you own all the rights to your music, there is nothing stopping you from doing a 24-hour stream of your music on loop and just saying, hey, rock radio to listen to, or cool rock jams, or whatever you want to do, or whatever kind of playlist. Have some sort of animated loop in the background, and you can do that. There are some huge channels that do that as well. So, I mean, all those kind of things can help. I also said, maybe doing something where you just do online, teaching might be something just to kind of get it up there, or at least, kind of get engagement and talking with people that are interested in what you are, which is music and guitars. I know that teaching might not necessarily be your gig, but, it's definitely things that you can do. Nick says, yeah, I've got the playlist. I use the EndShare card thing. That all works if people get to that point. Those help. The end cards definitely do help a little bit more than playlists do, in my opinion and in my own experience. Yeah, Reddit seems to hate people promoting their own stuff. They do. They really do. I mean, you can do it, but you have to, like I said, you have to be smart about it. If you promote your own stuff, you'll get crucified. I tried years ago. I was told basically to fuck off. Yeah, there are some hostile places. The sad thing is with Calgary, is our Calgary, which is the Reddit feed for Calgary, is one of the most hostile places, I swear to God, on the planet. It's just like troll filled. And that's one of the problems with Reddit is like, in Reddit, you are truly anonymous if you just select a handle and you do your thing and you're very smart about how you do your posts. Nobody will ever figure out, so you can troll away. And that's one of the problems with Reddit. But if it does get momentum on Reddit, it can do really, really well. The bad thing is our Calgary, if you promote a video on there, a lot of times people will just, they'll crush it. Myself in particular, if I go there, and I've talked about Dirt Pig before. Dirt Pig is on me like a pig on shit, and just doesn't like me for whatever reason, and that's his fucking problem. But whatever. There you go. Pete says, like my barbecue videos on barbecue subreddit, I get a ton of views. Yet some people get pissed off about how good I am. That's just jealousy. That's just jealousy. Not a bad idea. I found live streams very difficult, and I rarely have anyone that actually. I will show that comment. I will definitely show. I'll get back to that there. Not a bad idea. I found the live streams actually very difficult, as rarely had anyone actually watch or interact live. So it felt a little stilted. It's tough. It is definitely tough. When people aren't here, they aren't interacting, they aren't talking. You are definitely, kind of talking outwards. It does get a little bit weird at times. I've had live streams, the Daily JD, where I've talked maybe 5-10 minutes with nobody in the room, and just kind of kept on going. I will say this about the YouTube thing, though, is that the numbers aren't always accurate, and sometimes there are actually people here watching, and you don't necessarily know, and you don't see it till the stats afterwards. But the more consistent you are, the more that you are doing it, the more likely you are going to hit on people. Like, I mean, to be honest, like, if you think about it this way, if you were to offer a free guitar lesson, every week, and continue to do that, go through the basics, or just do scales, or share information, or talk about stuff, or teach how to play a song, I am sure there's going to be somebody that comes along that is going to basically play along. And the longer that you go, and the more that people sort of see that, the better it is. If you have people that start interacting, you can definitely cater to those people. I mean, it's hugely advantageous for that. I mean, hell, a free guitar teacher that interacts with you that's people pay good money for that, right? People pay good money to send their kids to do that. So I mean, there's a potential there to build. I don't know how successful it would be, or how realistic I'm talking about, but I mean, I'm just basically spitballing ideas to sort of get the momentum going for yourself. And the nice part about it is that I know that you have some content on scales and a bunch of other things in your library too, that again, you can utilize the live stream to say, hey, you can do this exercise, this is a good thing that you can do, and just kind of spitballing that as well, especially with guitar. If you can, create videos, like where somebody practices a scale with you, and it's something that you should be doing daily, that might be something as well, just as a play along. That people would come back and back and back and back and back again. It's instructional videos are really good for that. I will say this, like my most popular video on my channel currently, and has been for quite some time, is how to repair a basically Kenmore washing machine. How to basically replace the coupler between the transmission and the motor. That's my most popular video. It gets the most amount of watch time. It gets the most watches. It gets multiple views because people are trying to follow step by step, but you just go, and it's done. So they'll rewind, they'll watch. So, I mean, anything that you can do that will create that again, you will obviously benefit a lot more. Same thing. Another one of my more popular videos is how to do an oil change on a 2017 Jeep. It's not rocket scientists, but it's people will watch it because they're not that familiar with it. And, they want to go through, or they don't quite hear the torque settings, so they want to hear the torque settings, and they'll rewind, and, it generates a lot of view time. Whereas, for example, again, me going and checking out this display, and, showing that is kind of a one-time watch thing. Nobody's going to watch it again. And then when it's after June 16th, it's unlikely that anybody is going to probably ever watch that video again. So it has a limited shelf life. If you can create something that has, sort of a timelessness, it'll do that. It's like my unboxing videos and Metallica videos. People watch those on a regular basis. Not tons, it's not astronomical, but it's a constant feed. And those constant feeds help build time on your channel. It will help you build your channel up. So hopefully those are some good ideas. I'm going to jump back to the comment here because I've been rambling on. Craftsman says, I'm 922 subs away from monetization, and I don't even know how many hours of watch time away. But the thing is everybody's got to start somewhere, right? You got to start somewhere. You got to create stuff, and it all adds up. Unless you are, gonna skyrocket to stardom, and you're blessed, you're hit by lightning, it does take work. So, I mean, if I look at my feed, I think we're about 500 videos in, which I can't believe I've ever made 500 videos. And again, there are lots of videos that are just kind of dead weight and dead water, but they all add up. And as videos have been around for a long time, guys like Dan the DXT will tell you, because of some of the stuff that he does, he just has videos that randomly blow up. And I have the same thing. Reviewy will tell you the same thing. Like his push now to 1,000 subscribers is largely because of his filling a condom full of water video that just for whatever reason randomly blew up. I did a video where I played basically a vinyl record with some Canadian money. And that blew up at one point because somebody shared it and it became a thing because nobody knew that you could play, music with your money. So it does randomly go. I like the loop idea. That's a sick idea. I'm glad. It's glad one of my ideas, maybe Hing. Fuck, that guy sounds like a Hans. He definitely a Hans. Mum's Universe says, laugh out loud. Reddit, once they turn on your post, it gets ugly. It's so true. It is so true. And you know what? I want to talk about Woodrow here for a second. He had a video last week. He was live on the weekend. I was watching, and I have to say, very, very impressed with Woodrow. He was doing a live stream, and he had probably the biggest, most racist troll come back repeatedly over and over and over again. And I have to say, Woodrow, you handled that like a champ. You kept your composure. You didn't take any of it, to heart kind of thing. You just did what had to be done, and you did a super job. That, in itself, taking clips from that probably and making a video how to deal with trolls would be a fantastic thing, because I think you handled it like a champ, and hats off to you, because I don't think I could have done the same thing, because I was watching and I was getting annoyed. It was absolutely crazy, but you did an awesome, awesome job of dealing with your trolls live. And I mean, that guy was something else. He was definitely something else, and very, very, pushy. Like, I don't know how many YouTube accounts this guy had, but he had it out for you. Samurai Fingers, I feel I could just live stream practice sessions. You know what? And that's a beautiful idea as well. Just, when you're practicing, playing, stream. I mean, if you have somebody watch, that's great. I know that Nat Warnock, who is another local creator, he streams his cat during the day to try to get his view time hours up. Like, I mean, I don't think he has a ton of viewers, but I mean, I've seen it sometimes where he's got 4 or 5 viewers watching his cat sleep. So, I mean, it's going to work for him, and again, it's a numbers game. So every time you get those hours increase, it's going to help. So there are definitely ways to do it, and practice sessions. I mean, if you're going to do them anyways, why not? Mom's Universe, way to go, Craftsmith Filmwork. Almost 1K. Check those hours and dashboard. See what you need. Where are we going to go here? I just kind of jumped there. How-to style videos get pushed way more than YouTube than any other style of video. I agree. It's just smart to do it. Again, like I said, the vast majority, like I like vlogging. I like doing travel vlogs. That's what I like doing, and that's what I like to do. I also like doing the daily JD, and I like, kind of talk. Those videos, they don't do a ton of stuff. I occasionally get, a decent one that does all right. I maybe get a few hundred views, but beyond that, I have videos that have like 10K views, like how to fix your Canon G7X stuck lens, slider that's on the front of it. Videos like that, they continually produce time and time again. And again, those are the foundations holding up the rest of it. It's I'm not a big how-to guy. going finding things to do. Like if something comes up, I will do it. But I'm not going to go seek those kind of things out. But they definitely do help the channel a huge way. So there you go. Mom's Universe says that guitar lesson is a really good idea for somebody pulling in, and watch time and views would add up, I would also think. Cool. I love the lesson idea. I might give it a try. That's awesome. We will definitely let you know. Hey, Sunday. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing good. JD, did you visit the Ghost Mall again? I have. I went back a few weeks ago. I'm kind of been scouting, and reason being is when I go back, I kind of, there are stores there now. There's about 75 stores. It's still, I would say, in a little bit of disarray. When I go back, I want it to be a more positive thing. I have contacted a couple store owners as well. They are down to talk to me on camera. I kind of want the story to be a little more positive, and at this juncture, I don't think it is. In all honesty, I went there. There are stores, but a lot of them are not open. They're open, but they're not open. These people aren't necessarily keeping hours. There's some frustration with the owners there, and I definitely don't want to, kick a bunch of people when it's down. Like I did my Ghost Mall video. It blew up like it did. And, I kind of want to, go back in and kind of have some hope in this video. I mean, it may, there is a deadline now. I think that video is now 7 months old. I will definitely go back at the 1 year mark, regardless. I know that mall management is still not terribly happy with me. I mentioned to the owners there, there was some stuff that I was willing to do. I'd also talked to mall management as well, saying, there was stuff. And, I think they just I think mall management's kind of position is that they just want YouTubers to kind of go away and, kind of the focus not to be there. And they want, what I would say is more of a produced or marketing output. They kind of want to control the dialogue, which is definitely not what I'm about. But, at the end of the day, we will be back there at some point and going there. Mom says, I remember your picture from JD's Twitter. You posted a picture rocking the Lloyd and JD hat. See, social media works. There you go. There you go. Hey, the Brew Monks are here. Oh my God. Hey guys, what's going on? Good to see you on YouTube. My God, I usually only talk to you guys on Twitter. Thanks for dropping in. That's awesome. Mom's Universe, that's actually a pretty good idea. Going to see what I can do with that video. He came back the second day as well. He got worn out by the mods blocking him. Oh my God, that guy, like I said, you handled it like a champ, Woodrow. Guys like that, the world doesn't need, but you handle it like a champ. And like I said, you were so calm about it. I couldn't have done it the same way. Absolutely not. Like the Dead Mall vid, there you go. We are doing good, Brew Monks. Thank you, Sunday. What else do we have going on? Still loving my Lloyd and JD hat. That's awesome. I'm really happy you guys won. It's we did that through Gleam.io to ensure that it was a totally random draw. I'm glad it's definitely somebody that's enjoys Lloyd and JD podcast that got it, and it's just cool. I enjoy doing those kind of things, and hopefully I will get to do a little bit more. I have been thinking about more merch stuff and doing some design stuff, so we will see how it goes. So there you go. Yes, my hat. I'm a fan of the hat. And thank you so much, Sunday, as well, because Sunday did buy a bunch of hats and gave them away to her viewers. She's got a great viewership over there. Thank you so much, Sunday. Just dropped a sub on Sunday. Anybody that rocks JD, I'm good with. That's awesome. Andy, do you need mall's permission, or will you film guerrilla style? That's a very, very good question, Andy. The way it works in Canada is that I do not need permission to film. I can go in and I can film, as long as it's a public space or it's, reasonable expectation that it is a public space. you can film. You do not need permission. That being said, if they ask you to stop filming, you do have to stop filming. And if they ask you to leave, you do have to stop. If it is a true public space, like a public park or anything like that, public streets, public fairways, all that kind of stuff, you can film. It's 100% legal. You don't need anybody's permission. And that's kind of where that goes. So, I do want to work with some of the people that are there, when I do go back. Like I said, I do want to make it, a little bit more positive. Like, it's interesting because the mall has definitely struggled. We know that the economy here in Alberta hasn't been the greatest. I think there are definitely some issues. It's not going to be all sunshine and roses because I don't think it can. I don't think the place will be remotely close to full by the time that I go back. But hopefully, there's sort of a glimmer of hope. I know they are moving the farmers market in there, as well as they are moving in the Best Store, which has been touted as the Chinese Walmart. Not that I think that a Chinese Walmart is anything that anybody really kind of wants to brag about, because I don't even like Walmart in itself. But, at the end of the day, it might help breathe some life into that mall. For me, spending a lot of time in Asia and shopping in Asia, I get the market concept, but I don't think it works well in North America yet. So, I definitely will, go back, but, hopefully, and like I said, I've already lined up some people to talk to. So I already have permission from some of the retailers in there to speak with them, and they do want to discuss stuff, which I think is really, really cool, because it will give you a different perspective on, sort of what that mall is. So it'll be a different approach. There's, in all honesty, there's no point in me going in and doing the same kind of video that I did the first time. Not that that's even possible, because like I said, there are definitely stores in there and a lot more people sort of mulling around, although it is still very, very quiet at this point. And it's, kind of it's going to be one of those eclectic places, in terms of what they have for retailers and stuff. And I know the sad thing is the last time there has already been casualties. There are businesses that were there that have shut down. So it's going to be interesting. It's a great hat. Thank you. Fave hat, no lie. Thank you so much. Branding and social media is powerful. YouTubers have reach. Very, very true. That's pretty reasonable. Filming rules. Yeah, that's Canadian law. It's and I think it is, really, really kind of reasonable. You just kind of have to know, what the law is. There are definitely people that will, push things. I know that downtown, I've been approached by security and told to stop filming when it is public property. Sometimes people overstep their bounds, as well, because we have the plus 15 system here. I've been asked to stop filming in the plus 15 for whatever reason, which is, of course, public, but, it's just being aware of what things are. And, again, it's when people approach you and talk to you, it's being completely reasonable and, really just kind of going along with it. If you watch the second video that I did on the Ghost Mall, where I returned and they shut me down because I went back after I got back from Singapore and Malaysia to go film the follow-up. I wanted to go through the whole mall 100%, step by step by step. I got shut down very, very quickly. They were very polite about it. So, just being polite and agree and, go on with your day is the best way to be. Having a big fight and argument is never really worth it. And you're not going to get yourself any very, very much further. Hey, Lister Mate, thanks for dropping in. Sunday says, thanks for the mall update and review, JD. You are being honest, not trying to cause them any harm for their business. I love that vlog. Yeah, and that was the biggest critique that the mall, I'll tell a kind of quick story as well, because I'm just one of those transparent guys. When I went back, I've gone back a couple times, again, just kind of, scoping things out and looking. At one point I was there. I was actually making a medical appointment on the phone. I was and there's a honey shop there, and I was in there taking a look at the honey. I got called for a medical appointment. I was talking on it, and this guy and another guy kind of walked up to me, started getting into my face when I was on the phone, saying, "Hey, have you written anything bad about the mall today?" And I'm like, I'm on the phone. Like, if you want to talk to me, we can talk in a second, but I'm on a private phone call. So they waited there for a moment, and I finished my phone call. I said, is there something you wanted to talk about? And then he got right in my face, and he, basically started accusing me of, trying to destroy the mall and a bunch of other things. And I just kind of said, I said, no offense, I don't know who you are. You obviously know who I am. I said, you're obviously very upset with me. I said, I'm more than happy to discuss what's going on, but let's shake hands, introduce ourselves so we know who each other. I'm JD. Obviously you already know that, who are you? And it turned out to be the mall manager. We did talk. I did end up giving him my card. I said, I am more than happy to work with the mall and, do some stuff. And, like I said, I have a bunch of great ideas that could work. And I had mentioned that to store owners, and they seem very, very kind of thing. But I think it's a very split kind of thing that they're, their thoughts on me, I guess, is what I'm looking for, is how it goes. But, I have no malicious intent. I don't want, people. I'm a small business owner as well. I want people to do well. I want people to, reach their dreams, reach their goals. I want them to, whatever their dream is, whatever shop they want to run, I want everybody to be successful. That's just kind of how I go through life. So, there you go. Brewmonk, when you're going to see more docs of you visiting breweries. I haven't really done a lot of docs brewery wise. I think the last one that I did was the Big Rock Brewery, as well as I think Citizen. I do go to Citizen a fair bit, which is just down the road from there. I go with Bullshit Corner, who's a good friend of mine, and we go have some beers and stuff like that. But definitely should be in the works, because to be honest, and of course we've done it with our friends down at Cold Garden in Inglewood, which was our bumper video for a long time. Sort of the focus of my channel at this point is very Calgary orientated. Basically, showing what Calgary has to offer and exploring the opportunities a lot of people don't know about in the city. Breweries will definitely be a part of that as well. So there you go. Listermate 2, have you been on the new video chat platform called Get Vocal? I have not, but I will definitely check it out. What's the gist with that, Listermate? Let us know in the chat there. Mom's Universe, I remember the security came over to you and you just rolled out and did your own thing. There you go. And you just kind of go along with the thing. I've been stopping by a few McDonald's for playing Pokemon Go. I wasn't bothering anyone, just sitting there in my booth enjoying my Big Bat. That's that's unfortunate that, people have to do that. I mean, to be honest, in today's world with cell phones and everything like that, you're not going to stop people from filming anything or taking photographs. That's just kind of the way it is. I think that the more that people realize that, the better off we're all going to be at the end of the day. So, it's, there's no point in security being overly zealous or intrusive. You can't stop, even if you, try to stop people. They'll still find a way of doing it. No cameras happens to me while blogging. It definitely does. And you have to, like I said, you kind of have to respect that. I mean, if you walk into a place as well that has signage that says no cameras, you're best to pay attention to that. I know that when I was in vlogging in Japan, because Japan being a different country, the rules very, very much different. There were a couple times that I was asked to stop vlogging, and I just respectively did it. I didn't want to be the Logan Paul tourist, that clown, in Japan. I want to respect people and those people around me, and generally speaking, the vast majority of people, I would say here or anywhere that I have been, country wise, they're always pretty open with it as a whole. I mean, generally speaking, if you're decent, respectful, talk, polite, you will get, what you want to do done. It's all a good thing. It's like when Josh and I went to the Calgary Flames thing, like they were totally cool with us, using the cameras. And they're a place that really are not cool with cameras most of the time. So there you go. Mitch says lots of brewery connections here. I know that's the nature of your business. Awesome. Can't wait to catch them. Will do. And speaking of that, if you are in the Calgary area and you want to go do a brewery tour and do a collab thing, I'm all down for that. So there you go. Nice maple emoji. Awesome. Thank you, Lister Mates. Get Volky is a new video chat platform. You can have 4 people on a screen via video and chat side by side. Broadcasts can be set up to broadcast to Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. Oh, now you've definitely caught my attention, because one of the things that I have always kind of wanted to do, and I mean, the chat is absolutely fantastic. I love the chat. I love the interaction here. I love how everybody, can sort of say in their thing and we can kind of get going here. One of the things I've always wanted to kind of introduce is calls. I did kind of look at the Rode Procaster Podcaster because it does have that capacity, although it is a phone call, and so I don't think it is the most viable way to do it. And the fact is that we are very podcast set up here anyways. If Rode wants to send me a podcast studio to test it out, I am by all means good for that. But the price tag's a little bit steep for me to do that. But I would love to have guests on the Daily JD. That's kind of one of the next things I would love to do, and just have kind of those daily conversations, because I think everybody has great perspective and insight as a creator. We all have, similar but different experiences, and, we can all gain knowledge from each other, and that can help us all propel ourselves forward, which I think is a good way, to be. The fact is that we are stronger as a community, that we are stronger as a group, that we can help, promote each other and support each other and hold each other up, and help everybody achieve what they want to achieve, by sticking together. So, I mean, there you go. Josh says, I feel like I got told to stop filming when I'm by myself, but when JD and I go out together and film, we never get told to stop. It's interesting. I will say this, there is power in numbers that, when you're just kind of the odd guy doing it, you definitely garner a little bit of attention. But when there's a group and there are people involved, and that's why I love the photo walks and video walks that we do, is that people will take a look at us, but nobody's going to come over to a group of 5 or 10 people and say, you can't do that necessarily. It just doesn't happen. And I'm pretty sure, sometimes we end up places we probably shouldn't necessarily be, or, otherwise we might, see security show up. But, it's good. Like I said, I enjoy collaborations. I enjoy filming with people because I feel, it's a much better dialogue, conversation, story to be told in those cases. So, yeah. Mission on 2 Wheels and the Brew Monks connect with each other. Could be win-win. There you go. Listener, they do have an app. Just put it in Get Vocal on the App Store. You'll also find them on their website. I'm definitely going to do that, and I truly do appreciate that recommendation, listener mate. Finding out things like that always helpful to kind of find new things that might not necessarily have found, and may become very, very valuable tools in the future. I had to take a shower. What did I miss? A lot of conversation. You missed a lot of conversation. Get Volky would be perfect for you. They have been around since September and they're growing every day. I'm definitely going to check it out. Hey, J-Bo, thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining the stream. Samurai updates about the Ghost Mall. Did you hear about the new real life treasure hunt going on in Calgary? No, I have not. On the Get Volky site now, this looks very promising. Awesome. That's good to hear. I will definitely be checking that out either later tonight or tomorrow, because tonight we're going to see John Wick 3, which I am super pumped about. It's going to be a great thing. Some company buried $100,000 real money somewhere in the city, and they're selling maps and clues on their website. Starts June 1st. That's interesting. It's they're selling clues and maps on their website. Makes me wonder if there is anything to be found, and what the price of admission is. It may be something, for everybody to kind of collectively do, and find this treasure that's put around. You know what the funny part is probably some random guy will find it that doesn't buy anything, and just comes across it by happenstance. There you go. Yes, $25 for their starter pack. It sounds like a scam, says Sean. I agree with you. I agree with you. It's kind of like I don't know if you ever guys got these. I still kind of get them every randomly once in a while in the mail of all things, telling me I've won millions of dollars and that I need to send them $100 to pay for the transactions to get my $1,000,000, which is ridiculous. If you just, were going to give me $1,000,000, why wouldn't you just pay me the, 999,000, $900, and keep the 100 out of the thing. But, that's another thing. And another 35 for all the clues. Sounds ridiculous. I wonder if insurance covers treasure hunts. There you go. Yeah, bro, I've never been live before. Less of a vlogger, though. Maybe I'll paint live on here one time. How have I found going live? Because I've been doing live for so long, I mean, I've been doing this since sort of the push. I will say this, for those of you who don't know Jabo, Jabo is an airbrush artist, very talented airbrush artist as well. I would say he's one of the few guys that I would recommend in Calgary to get your stuff painted with. Very, very talented guy. Has done really, really well with a bunch of videos on Facebook and live paintings that he has gone there. When I first met you years ago, I would say your painting has increased phenomenally, and you do absolutely fantastic stuff. There is definitely an audience. You will find an audience in that, especially if you can go with the chat and answer questions and go on. And I know that you're doing some airbrush tutorials as well as time-lapse stuff, but yeah, you can definitely do that and it will go very, very well for you. I think it's definitely a space that you can occupy. I know that in the airbrush community, guys like Steve Leahy, who is known for his micro airbrushing, as well as Drew, do a lot of stuff. I know Mike Learn also does a lot of airbrushing stuff. There are a fair few guys that do it, some very talented guys. Xavier Soto, all very good airbrush artists from all different parts of the world. But yeah, there is definitely an audience for it. And if you can communicate and help teach people, which seems to be the biggest thing, you will definitely do that amazingly. Going back to the thing, it's legit. They're covered in the news and they're running it in Vancouver and Edmonton. That's crazy. That is crazy. It'll be interesting, maybe one of the good things to do is, like I said, if it costs $25 to $35, you would just get a mass group and do it that way, and kind of pool, kind of like lotteries. But it would be interesting to see. It would be quite the video series if you could win it. If you could vlog doing this hunt and win the whole thing, that would be absolutely amazing. 100K. If we raise 50K, I'll fight you. Oh my. Okay, so I'm gonna have to draw some attention to this. So Mitch says if we raise 50K, that he will fight me. Number one, Mitch doesn't have a hope in hell of ever beating me. I'm tempted just to pony up the 50K because then I just get to smack him around for fun. But that would definitely be good. I mean, I'd be all down to fight another YouTuber. That's definitely it. And I mean, I'm worse for wear at the moment. Like I said, I'm currently waiting for procedure on my elbow, and I just had my hip done in December. So, that would be an entertaining time, Mitch. I assume it's a winner's take all kind of thing. Winner takes the 50K kind of thing. So there we go. I've been on Get Vocal since last year. I hope to see you on there. We're definitely going to have to check that out. That Get Vocal sounds really, really good. Those hockey masks are tight. Yeah, he's been doing some phenomenal. Jabo's been doing some phenomenal hockey masks. Hey, good to see you, Scott. I feel like I've missed so much. Yeah, I mean, I've been rambling on for an hour, so I mean, I don't know how much you've missed, but it has been a good chat today. And I'd be interested to try. I've gone live on Insta before, but trying to be more active on YouTube these days. Cool. Thanks. It's, I know that we discussed before, Facebook and sort of the recommend, getting to that point where you're monetized on Facebook. I know that a lot of people were, kind of re-streaming your videos and you were getting a lot of hits that way, which obviously helps the business side of things for airbrushing as well, but getting that, down on YouTube and building that base where it's a base that you control is a lot better. I mean, you have, strong social media followings all around, it's pooling those together, and you will be, that much better off. And, it's, the amount of views that things like your Black Panther helmet were generating and stuff like that. I mean, you should be taking home a good amount of cash, and that would be absolutely phenomenal for you. And, hopefully you can get to that point, because I think that would be really, really good. Josh says, everybody make sure to hit that like button. Please do hit the like button on the stream. That does help me out a great deal. It helps, people find the stream. It helps people find the channel. One thing that I always say, if you're a creator or anything, is if anybody shares anything, the least you can do for them on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or anything along those lines is as simple as hitting that like button, because it's going to tell the algorithms on all those platforms that they should show it to other people and that you've enjoyed it. And, those little things help. Like, I mean, you don't have to spend any money. It takes a fraction of a second. It helps out so much. Going our nice listener mates try to interview Coast on Twitch. Yes, that's the thing. I think that's why we're all interested. I know Woodrow has had his co-host there on Twitch as well, which I've been unable to do, but something like that will definitely help. Do I use a ring light? No, I don't. I do not use a ring light at all. I have a big window in front of me, and that is my main source of natural light. I do have shutters on it, so I can control it a bit. I do have a colored light as well as some other little lamps that I can turn on if need be, but I do not use a ring light. I typically use, for Lloyd and JD, we use giant shadow boxes, soft boxes, not shadow boxes, to light the studio downstairs. But in the office here, basically, I will use a couple of little lights, and I will just grab two to show you. So these are great little guys, and the reason I use them is they're portable, and if you got to set up, one is the Lytra torch, a little thing. You can see it's a little diffuser dome, so it lights up, fairly decent, and it's got several steps of light, and then it's got a flashing thing. The battery chargers are about the size of a GoPro Session. They're fairly inexpensive. The other one is the Amaran light. Again, same sort of thing. It's got a nice little soft diffuser on the front. The nice thing is they're all portable. You can throw them up on cameras, and that works. They don't pump out a great deal of light, but they're nice and small if you're working in a small space. So, ring light is a really good thing, especially for beauty. It's nice because you can put the lens right through the middle. You'll get some great, lighting in the eyes. It's absolutely fantastic if you can go that. So there you go. Jabo says, I'm monetized now finally on YouTube. Finally, the Black Panther being the breadwinner for sure, which is awesome. I'm happy to hear that, man, because you deserve the credit for all the stuff that you do, not some other guy that's sharing your video, for sure. Deleted my Facebook account, gone. Obviously talking about Nick's being gone from Facebook. You can set up your Patreon account with Get Volky. You can set up broadcasts and be seen on your Patreons only. Cool. Ring light sounds like some borderline accessory. Ring light's actually a really, really good thing if you're going to talk to the camera like I do now. So it is a good flattering light because of its 360 pattern. And like I said, the reflection in the eye is really, really good. Although I wear glasses when I talk and I read, so I get those weird you can actually see the light source in my glasses there if you look carefully enough. Rest in peace, Facebook. Facebook are killing themselves. Don't know it'll go the way of MySpace, but Facebook is not doing themselves any favor. They're in a lot of trouble. Most definitely, as I mentioned in the stream earlier this week, Facebook is looking at about $3 to $5 billion worth of fines coming up, and they're looking at possibly 20-year rule of government regulation from the U.S., which is not necessarily a good thing for anybody. So it will be interesting. Facebook just launched a dedicated FaceTime device. What? Interesting. There you go. Talking about Get Folky. Jabo says thanks. Sunday, you have a good lighting setup. It works. It does work. Facebook is going down, says Sean. I agree. I think it is starting to go. It's funny because Josh and I last night we were talking about MySpace and music and all sorts of stuff, and I still have a MySpace account with all my great MySpace friends from when I was tattooing, because that's what I was doing at the time. So it was very tattoo dedicated MySpace for myself, but it was an interesting place. YouTube studio room coming soon. Maybe it's messy. It's really, really messy. I've got a couple goalie masks kicking around that I'm working on, and I've got some like just junk everywhere. I got a motorcycle helmet I'm working on. I got a bunch of stuff that I'm working on, and probably way too many energy cans. Like if you want to see a tour of how much energy drinks I drink in a day, that's probably what you're going to see. But I mean, there is a lot of stuff in here. It's I love my office space, and I got a drafting table here. I've got the cutter here as well. I got the airbrush studio downstairs, as well as I've got the photo studio and stuff down in the other level as well. So there you go. What masks am I painting? I am painting a old school goalie mask, doing a trumped up retro design, which will be fun. As well as doing another Star Wars orientated one, and the motorcycle helmet is a Predator based one. So they're all a little bit of fun. The funny thing is that I stopped posting or advertising airbrush work a long time ago. I stopped doing it for whatever. I think it was more because designs getting, jacked and stuff like that. But, maybe at some point we'll get back to it and put those things out. But I really don't even advertise anymore, ever. It's kind of like I don't even exist, even though I do somehow still get calls, which is kind of funny. It's just, I guess it's from being in the game for a very, very long time. There you go. What type of mics do you use? I use Shure SM7Bs. We have 4 of them for the podcast. In terms of the camera, I have a Rode Video Micro, as well as a Steinhauser shotgun mic that I use, as well as the Zoom H6. I also have a shotgun for that as well. So typically everything is routed through the H6. So the Shure SM7B, that's it right there. It is a fantastic microphone. I do highly recommend it. It sounds great. We've stuck with those for years in doing the podcast. So there you go. What do we have working on? What brand of energy drink? Whatever's cheap. Red Rain 4 for $3. That'll work. A lot of times it's Rockstar. It's whatever's fast and cheap. Whatever will get me. It's like just a pick-me-up junkie, I guess is what it's going. I just need that burst of energy every once in a while. The actor who played Chewbacca died last week. Peter was a super nice guy. I was very, very lucky. It was sad to hear. I did talk with him. I had a brief interaction with him when I worked at the Comic Expo. I think it was 2 years ago. He was, at that time, he's a very, very tall man, but he was getting around on a mobility scooter. And where I was staging my stuff for my booth, they would come out. So him and Jason Mewes and a bunch of other guys they'd all come out there and smoke. And I was kind of unpacking, and he asked me if I had a light. And I said, sorry, man, I don't smoke. And then we had, kind of a quick little talk. And, he was just like, oh, I'm just, kind of chilling back before going in and signing a bunch of autographs and all that kind of stuff. And we just kind of chit chatted for a minute. Very brief encounter, but super polite, nice guy. He's, an iconic figure. And, it's getting to that point where, we start to lose people. I mean, we lost Carrie Fisher as well. So, I mean, it's interesting, people that were, especially in your childhood, stars that you looked up to, kind of, we do lose those people from time to time. Same with music. Lots of musicians that I love, that, grew up watching, photographing, lost a lot of them. So always very sad when those things happen. Scott says, SM7Bs are great. All the past vocals are tracked on those. That is cool. They're a great mic. I highly, highly recommend them. I think they are fantastic. And I mean, to be honest as well, they're a lot more versatile. When people ask about podcast things and like, getting things like Rode Podcaster microphones, I always recommend the Shure because they are a lot more versatile. And if you decide to downsize or upgrade to something, I don't know what you would upgrade to, but if you ever have to move them, there is a bigger market for them at the end. So there you go. Sounds cool. Predator sounds dope. Yeah. The Predator one, I'll be doing kind of the, and I don't think it's street legal, but the perforated vinyl at the front, so you can have the full piece, which will be interesting. It'll be an interesting job for sure. Love the bass that Mike picks up, and that's the beauty of it as well, is that Joe Rogan uses them as well for sure. And I mean, to be honest, like when I was researching and I saw like what's Joe Rogan using, and I did a lot of research before I decided to pick them up, and we had a couple of Kijiji specials that we utilized for Lloyd and JD for a long time. That we used at the beginning, but very happy to have these now, and they work really, really well for the live stream as well, because it just goes straight into the computer and out to you guys. Very happy to hear that Tim Conway passed away as well. Yes, very much so. Went to YouTube the other day. He died. Watched his favorite comedy skits that he was in, like Tour Fun Golf. That is a classic. I remember they used to have infomercials selling his whole collection of that. So there you go. Interesting. You want a Monster sponsor? Can Hat. If Monster wants to sponsor the podcast, I am down for that. I already have the Monster fridge down in the podcast studio. So, I mean, if they want to fill that up and supply me with lots and lots of energy, I am down for that. I mean, the funny thing is once upon a time, I think on what was it called? Sponsor House, when I was riding mountain bikes, that Monster Energy sponsored us. But the funny thing is that Red Bull gave us tons of product when we were down at Red Bull Rampage. I remember driving back when Red Bull wasn't available in Canada with a Chevy Avalanche, which used to have these side wheel well kind of things filled with Red Bull stuff. It was just ridiculous. Like, it was like more cans than we could ever have. We just filled the truck with them. It's absolutely crazy. You've done perf vinyl before, kind of pain in the ass. I know it is 100% a pain in the ass. It sucks at the end of the day. But and I honestly don't even recommend it for people. I don't like doing it per se, because I don't think it's particularly safe. I don't even think it's legal, but it's not my call. It's clients paying, so that's what they want. Like, I mean, if they decide to wear it on the road, that's on them. Yeah, we're all getting to an age where all the adult stars that were adults when we were young are old now. Musicians, we're losing lots of them as well, and it's absolutely true. And it's sad. It's sad because there are definitely people that had huge influences in your life, whether it's musically or in film or TV. And we have lots of fond memories of them, so it's hard sometimes, even though we may not have known them personally, that there's definitely a connection there, especially I think with people like myself that are huge into music, and these people created the soundtracks for our youth, and our all these different things, and you can relate to the music and your life, it becomes really, really difficult. Yeah, Perth, me neither, man. I would try and talk someone out of it. I did. Trust me, I did. I did. So there you go. So other than that, before we go here, I am going to click the play ad button and basically, get the monetization portion of this show out of the way. But essentially, what I would like you to do is if you have a video or something that you want to share that's going on, I don't care if it's an Instagram post or whatever, please do throw those links in the chat. I will approve those so everybody can see them. And just throw them out there while this refreshes. And basically throw it out there. If you got a website or your business or whatever you want to do, by all means, throw it out there. If you're looking for sponsors, views, whatever, it's all good. Like I said, if you can go and check out some other people's channels that were here in the chat, that will be absolutely fantastic, and support them. It will be a good thing to do. Of course, this is the Daily JD. We go every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got some stuff. Woodrow is just throw it in the chat, and basically what will happen is the bot will not approve it, and it'll wait. It'll pop up and it'll say if I can show it, and I will approve it. And there you go. So we've got Mum's Universe. He basically did a reaction to the Spider-Man Far Away From Home trailer. You can check that out, as well as J-Bo's stuff, his channel, which of course is airbrushing. And again, he is a phenomenal airbrush artist. Please do check him out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Sunday. J-Brush is cool, man. Thanks. This was fun. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. We've got a link from Listermate. Since I've been promoting Voki, check it out. There we go. There's Voki as well. Sean Bassey, thank you. Jay, God bless, buddy. Bye. Thanks to everybody as well. Thank you guys again for tuning in. If I see you again at John Wick tonight, by all means say hi. Come over. Don't be a stranger. It's going to be a good night of film. I will catch you guys all on Tuesday. Of course, I'm going to have to launch out here because we talked about Game of Thrones and how their writers are not necessarily the best. Well, I guess we'll go out with that again. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, see ya.